Live from the Knickerbocker Arena in Albany, New York, it's MAAC basketball. Tonight in our second semifinal contest, the number 3 seed, St. Peter's Peacocks, take on the number 2 seed, Canisius Golden Griffins. And hi again, everyone. I'm Barry Landers along with Glenn Concert. Well, we're down to the final 2 to see who's going to take on Manhattan tomorrow night. And Glenn, how do you size this one up?
Well, this is similar to the Manhattan game, a contrast in style. Canisius likes to push the ball up, get it in transition, and St. Peter's is the type of team that strives on defense. They'll try to get into a half-court game.
All right, let's take a look at the 20 bracket, see how these teams got here. And you can see Manhattan advanced in the top part of the bracket. In the lower bracket, we'll find out the winner tonight.
Well, Manhattan struggled against Fairfield. Fairfield had Manhattan into that half-court game the first half until Manhattan started doing things on defense to create half-court opportunities, and that's when they strived. I think this game is going to be an interesting one because St. Peter's really matches up well against Canisius.
Well, the two clubs have played 2 very interesting games. For more on that, let's go to our colleague, Carl Reuter.
You're absolutely right, Barry. They did meet twice during the regular season, and let's take a look at how those games came out. St. Peter's, of course, taking on Canisius, and when we slide them in, you'll see the results of those games during the course of the season. A 1-point game, Canisius just sneaking by, and then, of course, the other one where Canisius comes back 75-67 that February 17th. Now, I talked a little while ago, about 15 minutes or 20 minutes ago, to Coach Ted Fiore of St. Peter's. He said the keys in this game, as Glenn said, the transition. They do not want Canisius to get into that run and gun flow. They've got to control the boards. Ted Fiore said the game has to be in the 50s, maybe low 60s at most for St. Peter's to be successful. If Canisius pushes, gets the game into the 70s, it could be good night Irene for St. Peter's. Guys, back to you.
All right, Carl, thank you very much. Let's go to our Isuzu keys and start off, Glenn, with the keys right here.
Well, St. Peter's is going to have to try to contain one of the big 3 from Canisius, Meeks, Barley, or Wise. And I'm not saying stop all 3 of them, just stop one. Mo Seagar is going to have to guard the MAAC Player of the Year and Craig Wise. It's going to be a great matchup, but perimeter defense is where St. Peter's strives. They'll hedge out on picks and try to prevent Canisius from shooting those outside shots. But the guy from St. Peter's who's the leading scorer is Randy Holmes. St. Peter's not known for their offense, but they have a tremendous player in the open court in Randy Holmes. Randy Holmes is an excellent 3-point shooter, not known for his 3-point shooting ability until his senior year.
All right, and as far as the Canisius Golden Griffins, they finished strong, winning 7 of the last 8. What about the Isuzu keys for them?
Well, Canisius wants to get into a transition game. Canisius has to have patience, though, on offense. St. Peter's likes to frustrate you by putting pressure on the perimeter. They can't rush shots. And when Canisius runs into trouble is when they get into lapses. They'll throw the ball away for around a 2 or 3 minute period of time. And then Michael Meeks has to step up, Barry. They need a big game from the center position, not only on offense, but on defense as well. Meeks is the only true low-post player that Canisius has. And Meeks is going to have a big game on defense well. Canisius could take control of this game if Meeks does the job on the offensive glass.
Well, it's an interesting matchup of styles, and we'll be back with the start of tonight's game in just a moment. Get set for more MAAC basketball coming up next.
Sports Channel's coverage of MAAC basketball is brought to you by Marine Midland Bank. Marine Midland Bank is proud to sponsor the MAAC tournament for the 6th consecutive year. By the New York State Lottery. Play New York Lotto and you could win millions of dollars. Hey, you never know. By the new Gillette Sensor XL with microfins that set up your beard for the world's best shave. By US Air. We serve each and every person one at a time. And by Isuzu, makers of incredible 4-wheel drives.
Back at the Knickerbocker Arena, Barry Landers, Glenn Concert, Carl Reuter. We'll check out the starting lineups first for the St. Peter's Peacocks. Mo Seagar, Louis Arosa, good-looking front court, and Randy Holmes, Mike Frensley, nice pair of guards. And they will be key, especially Frensley. Played a very good game, didn't show up at the box score defensively, did a great job against Siena on last night's game. And their coach is the dean of coaches in the MAAC, Ted Fiore, 9th year, 149-109, looking for win number 150, and wants another shot at a MAAC championship and a trip to the NCAA, which they had back in '91. And Ted Fiore, a very fiery guy. And we'll take a look at the Canisius Golden Griffins. The all outstanding front court of Wise, Barley, and Meeks. Not going to find any better. All consistent scores, averaging about 16 points a game. Perhaps the X factor, Javon Moore, had a very big game the last time these two clubs played against St. Peter's.
He's shooting the ball better from the perimeter, and like the past game we just saw with Keaton Hyman, these two teams need the point guard to step up and stick the outside shot.
Moore had 11 points in yesterday's win, and that is a big plus for his team. And John Beeline, just recently 42 years of age, great record, and 50 and 36, especially the last 2 years. Last year, of course, they won 22 games. We'll be back with the start of tonight's game. It's MAAC Showdown time at the Knickerbocker Arena. Back at the Knickerbocker Arena, we get set for the final game of today's big triple-header. Earlier today, Loyola's women advanced to the championship, actually to the NCAA championship round, defeating Fairfield. Manhattan will play the winner of this game, and Ted Fiore's club hoping to pull off an upset here. They struggled late in the season after winning 7 in a row in the middle of the year. As we look at Canisius, they certainly finished very strong. The only really black mark on their record was a terrible loss to Iona, which we had on our MAAC television network, but they finished strong, beating Manhattan, and played a pretty good game, not a great game yesterday.
Well, Canisius is the type of team that's capable of winning this tournament because you have guys like Meeks and Wise and Barley who didn't forget last year's tournament. John Beeline's team came into the tournament favored to win. They get bumped in the second round by Loyola, and there's a vengeance factor this game, so these guys are going to come out and play intense basketball. And I got news for you, Barry. They're going to have to against this St. Peter's team, because you talk about defense. This is one of the best defensive teams in the MAAC Conference. And speaking of defense, keep your eye on number 23, Mo Segar, who I think is the best defensive player in the MAAC Conference.
I think another key will be Luis Arosa. He's the kind of player that can get off. If he gets off early, he's going to have a big game. They'll have a tough time defending him. All right, we'll set the lineups for you. Michael Meeks is 55, Darryl Barley 33, Craig Wise, the MAAC Player of the Year, number 12. Try to feed inside. Arosa quickly whips it to Segar. He's got DeVote with him. Instead goes to the money man, Randy Holm. Barley with the rebound, but he stepped out of bounds. And making the call right there was Jackie Hannon. It was our referee. We've got Joe Mingle and Murph Shapiro, rounding out an excellent crew of officials, Brad Tracy's crew. Frensley, 0-0. Arosa triple team and lost the ball out of bounds. And he gets frustrated early. And again, if he gets off to a good start, doesn't turn the ball over, he generally has a good game, as we saw yesterday.
Yeah, St. Peter's needs Arosa for scoring. They really have only two true guns on St. Peter's team, and that's Randy Holmes and Luis Arosa.
That's why I think Frensley has to step up. Barley on the drive, and Arosa gets his second rebound. And as he wrestled it down, he gets called for the foul as he elbowed Michael Meeks.
See, this is where Arosa has to keep cool. He does the little things and takes himself out of ball games. Now watch how he swings his arm. You can't do that. Now Meeks was nowhere near him. That was not necessary for him to swing his elbow like that.
Those are the kind of problems that Arosa sometimes has. Gets a little bit too emotionally involved. Teddy Fiore has to calm him down. He's a very high tempo player. Craig Wise for 3. Frensley pushes it up. Frensley is capable of scoring. He had 32 points against Stanford early this year, but he's reluctant to shoot, just wants to be the floor leader out there.
Yeah, he's the quarterback. He's the doctor on this team because he's the guy that makes everybody better. And Frensley, to me, is the most underrated player in this conference because he can control tempo. He's very quick, plays great weak side defense. Not real strong, not a big physical presence at the guard position, but very smart.
But he's not underrated in a sense among the coaches because they'll talk about him. In fact, he was a coach's choice as a second-team preseason MAAC All-Star. So that's how highly regarded he was, ahead of other very good point guards like Keaton Hyman. Segar driving and missing. Arosa, he's been strong on the glass in this game, and if there's a possible weakness of Canisius, it's on the backboard rebound.
I'm going to make a prediction, Barry. If St. Peter's has more offensive rebounds than Canisius does this game, they're going to win this ball game.
They're a scrappy club that will contest you on the boards, and not a big club, even though they have a 7-footer Boss DeVote.
St. Peter's struggled against Siena, and they played great defense. If they would have offensive rebounded that game would have been over early.
Meeks dropping off, so Canisius struggling early, getting good shots, but not dropping. Seagar, who doesn't shoot much, got rejected by Michael Meeks. Friendly trying to save it. And what's the call? It's going to go back over to Canisius, as they said Friendly was out of bounds. Michael Meeks, one of the shot blocking leaders in the conference.
Seagar, a little stop and go, trying to get the defense up in the air. He goes by Barley, but look, Meeks is right there for the shot. Seagar, not known for his ability to penetrate, just a role player on this team, just a tremendous defensive player, though. Always helping out.
Javon Moore with the penetration. Here's Barley, quick drive to the hoop. The tip up no good. Wise and Meeks both went up, and Arosa called for travel. So Luis Arosa turns the ball over. He's been getting a lot of rebounds. He's got, what, 5 rebounds already?
Arosa needs to be real careful here because he's testing the officials' temperament right now. And one more word out of his mouth, he's going to get slapped with a T, and that's not what his team or he needs right now. Well, he's got to calm down. He's got to play poised.
Canisius looking for his first points. We talked about lapses and lulls that they run into. They've started the game with a lull here, and Barley couldn't get that one to drop off the glass. Usually they get off to quick starts and then they have a lull midway through the half, but fortunately for them, St. Peter's hasn't put much up on the board, only that 1 2-pointer. Arosa guarded by Barley. Moore will kick it up. I don't know, that basket seems to have a lid on it. A lid on it. A lot of teams shooting at this basket that Canisius has shot at have had trouble shooting in the tournament.
Canisius, we talked about in the open, has to have some patience on offense. Not get frustrated against the St. Peter's defense. So much of Canisius's offense falls into a two-man game between either Wise and Meeks or Barley and Meeks, and they have to go inside.
DeVote from the baseline, and Wise has it. Knocked away from behind, and Friendly weaves his way through the lane, and a bad pass that time. Trying to be a little too cute. Moore picks it up. Sloppy ball game right now. Meeks gets fouled. Canisius 0 for 7 from the field. And on the foul,
St. Peter's defense is making Canisius rush. And that's what's happening right now. Canisius is not into the continuity of their offense. There's no fluidity in their game right now, and that's because St. Peter's is applying the great half-court pressure. Friendly picks up the foul. You'll notice Friendly 0-0 with the ponytail. And don't give me a pair of scissors, Barry, because I chopped that thing right off. But actually, I like it. Friendly doesn't get tired. He just doesn't get tired. He's got great stamina. It's kind of like John Stockton out there. He just never tires.
Yeah, that's the Florida look. Timeout on the floor. We're tied early, 2-2. Barry Landers, Glenn Concert back at the Knickerbocker Arena, seeing some pretty good defensive players in this second game. And speaking of good defensive players, when we get a chance, we'll take a look at the all-defensive team a little bit later. But Craig Wise certainly would have to be on that team. MAAC Player of the Year. And there's the field goal shooting. Canisius 0 for 7. St. Peter's not much better. Only Arosa's made a basket in this game.
Canisius now is in a 2-3 zone, but the back part of the zone plays man-to-man principles. Watch the 3 backcourt players.
Arosa, good job skying for the rebound, kept it alive. DeVote lost it in the lane as he got stripped. Moore back to Meeks. Looked like he traveled, no call. And now they're 0 for 8. Shades of last year when they struggled against Loyola.
Well, they're trying to get into transition. They're just not making good decisions in the open court. You don't want to throw the ball to a big guy coming down the lane that fast when he can't put the ball on the ground.
Meeks is 0 for 3, Wise 0 for 3, and Barley 0 for 3.
It's a nice seal.
Yes, indeed. Luis Arosa with all 4 points. He got off to a quick start yesterday. Had 12 points in the game. St. Peter's low-scoring win over Siena. This is Freddie Thompson, who became a starter late in the season, replacing Chris Young at the 2 spot. They haven't gotten much production out of Thompson. He can shoot the 3. And Michael Meeks with a soft touch. Meeks has all 4 of his team's points.
See, that's where Canisius can hurt you offensively, because Meeks comes from the baseline high, and he's 6'11". He can shoot that elbow shot.
Traveling is the call. No basket. Bas de Vogt, the 7-footer from Holland. Not very happy with the call. Ted Fiore pleading his case. Von Moore working against Mike Frensley. Two fine guards.
Watch the pick on Meeks. They'll just look to post him up, and Wise will run baseline and curl off the screens. Here comes Wise.
Against, he's working on one of the best defensive players in the league in Mo Seagar. Barley likes to splash into the lane. Ball batted around. Seagar tipped it to Arosa.
St. Peter's doing a nice job on the defensive boards. Not many second chance opportunities for Canisius. Seagar's also locking up Craig Wise.
Luis Arosa looking for help. He's in trouble now.
Nice job by Seagar stepping through the ball.
Holmes down low to Arosa. Put it on the floor and put it in the basket.
Right now, Canisius has Barley defending Arosa, and he's just backing him down.
Again, at times this year, Canisius' interior defense has been a problem, even though they have three very talented players. Barley, Meeks, and Wise, two of them are not great defensive players.
He's just sealing Barley down. I think you got to make a change here. I think Jim Beeline's got to make a change and put Meeks on Arosa, and de Vogt, who's now out of the game, should try to guard Barley.
Javon Moore missing from the corner. St. Peter's has out-rebounded Canisius 10-5. And Arosa with half of those rebounds. Here's Frensley. Jerome Davis, number 3, is checked into the ballgame with Sherrod Jones, number 41 for St. Peter's. Here's Seagar, who doesn't shoot much. He was 1 for 6 yesterday, getting good position and just banking in the 5-footer.
Randy Holmes is the decoy. No one's expecting Seagar to flash through and convert that way. Well-executed play by St. Peter's.
Seagar averages only 3 points a game, and Canisius turns it over. And John Beilein not very happy with his club. They're a high-scoring ball club, and they've scored only 4 points in almost 8 minutes of play here.
We talked about patience in the open. John Beilein knows he needs some continuity. Work the clock a little bit, 15, 25 seconds before you put up a shot. Force St. Peter's to stay down on their defensive stance.
He's brought Chris Young into the game, number 25, and Brian Griffith has come in for St. Peter's. He had a big part of the victory the other day with hitting some big free throws down the stretch, but he missed that shot from the corner. Young from the corner. Inside Meeks, and Seagar doubling up with Sherrod Jones. It'll be a foul, third-team foul. So not only has Canisius not shot well, they've turned the ball over 5 times already.
Ted Fiore does a nice job applying pressure outside that three-point line.
Timeout on the floor. 11:47 to go in the first half, and Ted Fiore's ball club leads by 4. Back at the Knickerbocker Arena, Barry Landers, Glenn Concert. Some of the St. Peter's fans coming up from Jersey City. And their club has played their usually typical good defense. Canisius shooting a horrible 1 for 12 so far.
Yeah, really taking them out of their offense, and that's what makes St. Peter's such a great defensive team. They take you away from your strengths. Wise just off from the outside. That was a nice look. You're not going to get much better of a look that time. Showed good patience, waited for the screen.
Now the big 3 of Wise, Barley, and Meeks shooting blanks here in the first half. Griffith going baseline. Look at Seagar, sky for the rebound and put it in. It's a 6-point Peacock lead.
You might say that Mo Seagar plays a quiet game, but not to me. Does all the intangibles.
Mo Seagar with 4 points, 2 above his average for the year. So you get 4 points for Mo Seagar.
See, look how far out St. Peter's is pushing Canisius on their offense.
Ryan Collins in the game for Canisius. And as Barley drove baseline, he got fouled.
We talked about how important offensive rebounding is to St. Peter's. Nice little penetration by Griffith, and look at Mo Seagar just come in, no one boxing him out. Now there's not a white shirt near Mo Seagar, that's just a missed assignment.
Canisius, not a good rebounding team, despite their prominent front court. There you see the shooting. St. Peter's 5 for 13, and now 1 for 14 is Chris Young, who's a guy who can light it up from outside, but has struggled of late.
4 blue shirts defending that glass.
Good pass to Jay Davis, powers his way in, and they're using some muscle, getting, again, that interior defense being sliced apart here.
Jerome Davis is a very, very strong kid underneath. He can move you both offensively and defensively.
Craig Wise will try to answer here, lost the ball. Sherrod Jones battling, they say off Jones, Murph Shapiro says.
So right now, Canisius is falling into the St. Peter's syndrome. They're rushing their shots, they're getting frustrated. Craig Wise needs to show some patience now, get into the offense. Keep your eye on Craig Wise on this play. When he takes the ball out of bounds, he usually comes off a screen. Another setup.
Canisius now with 15 seconds on the shot clock. Young tightly guarded by Randy Holmes. Shot clock to 8, lost the ball. Arosa to Holmes. Pulling up over Collins. And Barley wrestles it down. We've played over 10 minutes, and they have 1 field goal so far, and there's an opportunity and a lucky basket there.
Bam said, forget about continuity. I'm putting my head down. And I'm
That's a horse
myself.
play. That was back in the schoolyards of the Bronx or Brooklyn, maybe. Bam is a New York kid. He's from Bishop Ford High School in Brooklyn. And Arosa missing. And Canisius trying to push it up. More with the penetration. And Arosa, his 6th rebound of this first half. Back comes Griffith. Good dish off to Seagar, who has 6 points.
Canisius is not defending in transition. Griffith was able to get into the lane way too easy to make that distribution. You got to stop the ball handler early out by the 3-point line.
Arosa and Seagar, 6 points apiece. They have 12 of the 14 points for the Peacocks. Barley hitting the shot from the top of the key. And it's a 14-8 ball game. Darryl Barley's been playing well of late, averaging about 18 points a game in the last few games, after struggling middle of the season. Griffith swings it over to Seagar. Now he draws a double team, which is unusual for him. In trouble, got it off to Sherrod Jones.
Canisius playing that 2-3 trapping zone.
Brian Griffith struggling from the outside, and a foul on the reach in that time. It'll be the 6th team foul, so one advantage that Canisius has, that they're going to be at the line very soon.
Now look at this. Look how far in Griffith gets. No one stopping the penetration. That's why the pass was so easy. You got to stop the ball handler outside that 3-point stripe.
Michael Meeks back in the game. Meeks has 4. Craig Wise, the player of the year, has been held scoreless in the first 11.5 minutes of this game. And Darryl Barley has 2. Very surprising numbers there for the big 3. Off the turnover again. Canisius not looking sharp at all, not running their offense at all, Glenn.
Ted Fiore is a master of teaching his kids to play the passing lanes. You saw Randy Holmes just stick his hand out, Chris Young throwing it right into his hand, into the passing lane. They just take things away from you. They know where you're passing the ball. The St. Peter's team is a very well-schooled team defensively. Great preparation before this game, going through the Canisius offense.
Timeout right now, and Canisius struggling. They trail 14-8, 7:50 to go.
MAAC Basketball is brought to you in part by Jaguar. For information about the new 1995 Jaguar XJ Series, call 1-800-4JAGUAR.
Barry, we're getting a chance to see some excellent defensive players on my all-defensive team this year in the MAAC conference is led by Craig Wise. He's got that big upper body, very quick laterally, and the great hands. Mo Seagar, who's now defending Wise, locking him up. We saw Keaton Hyman in the last game. Very quick defensively. Stuart Downing from Siena. McClare from Niagara. Guys that just mix it up on defense. some of those guys just don't get the credit that they need to.
Points in the paint, and that is a shocker. Points in the paint, 14-2, and points outside for Randy Holmes. His first 2. Remember, he's their leading scorer along with Luis Arosa. And Holmes, averaging about 15 a game, has given his club an 8-point lead.
You can make a case for the whole St. Peter's team to be on the defensive team.
Damone James missing from outside as they search for some outside shooting, and a foul has been called on Canisius on the long rebound. Only the second team foul.
Ted Fiore doing a nice job with perimeter pressure, but I think John Beeline's team is going to have to start to go inside, not rely on perimeter shooting, but to punch the ball inside to Meeks and let him get some easy baskets, get to the foul line.
You know, if somebody would have told you that Canisius would be shooting 3 for 18, Glenn, I mean,
I wouldn't have believed it.
No, even if it's St. Peter's or Manhattan. Oh, look at Luis Arosa just slice away inside and come up with the bucket. And it is now a 10-point lead for the surprising Peacocks.
Canisius has to get out of the 2-3 zone and go man-to-man. See, they're rushing.
Up court, Randy Holmes will finish with the left hand.
One of the best players in transition in the conference, and a well-advised timeout by John Beeline's Canisius.
The Peacocks are strutting their feathers. They lead by 12. We'll be right back. Even though these two teams have split the 2 games, the St. Peter's victory was a 1-point win on a 3-point buzzer beater by Brian Griffith. This has to be a shock right now.
Well, we talked in the open how the St. Peter's game plan is to try to contain one of the 3. Right now, they're containing all 3. Wise, Barley, and Meeks, but Wise says, wait a second, I'm not that easy to stop. Give me some time.
First basket for Wise. He's 1 for 4. Meeks is 1 for 5, and Barley 1 for 5. So the big 3, you kind of know that they're probably going to get their numbers before this is over. But St. Peter's right now with a 9-point lead and controlling the tempo of this game. Not turning it over very much. Arosa, good look, and here's Seagar to finish again.
Nice pass by Arosa. I thought he was going to go up with it. Spotted Seagar in the last second. There he is again, midst the defense.
Off to Randy Holmes, and it's a 24-11 ball game.
I think Randy Holmes is the most explosive backcourt player in this conference.
Quite a story.
Talk about a guy that could finish, Barry.
He had a stress fracture in his left foot, sat out all of last year as a medical redshirt. They didn't know what to expect coming back. He had been away from basketball 2 years, and he had a scintillating season, making the MAAC second-team All-Star squad. Only one of 2 guards to make the All-Star squad. Arosa kept the ball alive, and Thompson will come up with it for Canisius. Falling down, Barley looked like he might have traveled on the floor, but they come up with a turnover. Arosa with Holmes. Spun off, tough luck. Look at Bostavote wrestling with Freddie Thompson. On the alternate possession arrow, it'll be St. Peter's ball unless they've called a foul here.
Yeah, I thought Arosa should have dished off to Holmes, who was wide open on the left side of the floor. He kept it himself, was able to get to the rim, just couldn't finish. He was off balance. Now watch Randy Holmes, wide open. Look how open Holmes was. He made the shot more difficult for himself.
They'll call it a tie-up.
And there's Bostavote with the WWF move, body slam.
Is that the old Netherlands move?
Netherlands headlock.
Jerome Davis in the ball game for St. Peter's, leading with under 5 minutes to go, 24-11. Shades of the real poor performance they had against Iona and Manhattan in our earlier MAAC telecast. It's hard to believe this Canisius team, as talented as they are, a team that beat Cincinnati, beat Pennsylvania, struggling right now, and now down by 15 after Randy Holmes buried that one.
Randy Holmes took a seat in midair for around 3 seconds before he shot that.
So Holmes, who just a few moments ago had no points, now has 8 quick points here. And Michael Meeks will answer, stopping the bloodletting.
Ted Fiore told Bostavote that Meeks will shoot from the elbow. You have to have a hand up in his face. And right there, you saw DeVote just run at him with his hands down. Ted's not happy about that one.
What St. Peter's ought to do is to slow it down right now. I mean, everything's going their way. They've got a 13-point lead. We hit the 4-minute mark here.
But Barry, the scoring in transition.
Don't force shots. They're, right now, Holden maybe forced that one. Davis again as they continue to pound the offensive glass here, and he got fouled. No, Craig Wise clapping his hands, but the foul is going to be on him or his teammate. It's going to be on Javon Moore, not on Craig Wise, his first, and only the third team foul. Now, what does this tell you? They only have 3 team fouls, yet they're getting killed inside. They're not stopping anybody inside. They're not even committing any fouls.
Tells you they're playing tentative defense, and it tells you they're not crashing the boards.
Iona, or rather St. Peter's, has owned the paint, as we saw that stat earlier. Not only scoring, Glenn, but getting rebounds, second chance opportunities.
And St. Peter's, on the other hand, is doing a nice job on the defensive boards. Only 1 shot's up, and they get it back.
Griffith with 14 on the shot clock. They had a 3-second violation called under the basket by Murph Shapiro.
St. Peter's runs around 13-14 set plays. They like to isolate Randy Holmes on one side. They'll punch the ball down when Arosa's in the game on a quick hit. Almost everything is centered around Randy Holmes and Arosa on offense. But guys like Seagar can finish.
Batted around, and a foul called underneath by Joe Mingle. Ted Fiore has done quite a job turning this team around. A couple of years ago, they were at the bottom of the MAAC pile, and people will say, hey, can Ted Fiore still do it? And he won 16 games last year, or actually 14 games last year. He's won 17 this year. And they're on a 22-9 run over the last 10 minutes.
And the foundation of that run has been the defense. So many of those opportunities have come from defense. John Beeline knows that his team is going to have to execute better in the second half in order to get back into this game and show some patience, extend the offense out, spread the floor, wait for the screens.
Yep. Wise looking for point number 4. He's got it. So the big 3 has just 13 points. They've been outscored by Seagar and Arosa. Just the 2 of those have outscored him 16-13.
So here's a good move right here. Full court pressure.
Arosa comes back in the game. Sherrod Jones will sit down. But Teddy using his bench, giving rest to players, doing a nice job in that area, bringing fresh people in. Look how fresh Brian Griffith is. He goes all the way, and they beat him on transition once again.
That's how you break the press. Get the ball into the middle of the floor and explode.
First 2 for Griffith, who has come alive late in the season after struggling most of the year with his offense. Wise. Off to Barley. Javon Moore finally gives him an outside shot. A 3-pointer for Javon Moore. Now, he's not the guy you expect to take the 3, but he hits that one.
Ted Fiore is very concerned about Moore hitting those shots because Wise draws so much attention when he puts the ball on the floor, and you have a tendency to leave him alone, and Bam can make those shots.
Although the other guy's more likely to take it, Chris Young, who's in the game. Arosa got it knocked away. It's going to be out of bounds. A break for St. Peter's as Canisius knocked it out. 15 seconds on the shot clock. 2:18 to go in this first half, which Ted Fiore could smile about a little. His club leads by 10. But Arosa did a little shuffling there. Now, the irony of it is, as well as St. Peter's has played here, they've got a 10-point lead. You know Canisius is so explosive that they can come back and score 10 points in an eyelash.
Indeed. When you have scorers like Meeks, Barley, and Wise who could light it up, and they have not got into transition, and I think John Beeline's doing a nice job applying some pressure to create some offensive opportunities. He just needs the ball more.
Well, Barley loves an open court game, but he hasn't gotten it today. He lobs it down low. Good pass, and it would not fall for Meeks. He battles for the rebound. Offensive goaltending interference. Offensive interference is the call. So the Peacocks get it back with 1:50 to go, leading by 10. You know,
Meeks missing the chippy inside, and as that ball is on the rim, it's touched for the 2.
Seagar, who has been the surprise of the first half, dishing it off. Davis batted away from him. Moore looking to push it up in transition here. Wise open shot. Oh, he missed that one. Meeks with a pretty tip. And it's an 8-point game. The 13-point lead is down to 8 with 1:20 to go.
Canisius is the type of team that slowly chips away at getting back at you, and one of the things that they can do is get into the transition game. That was a good shot by Wise.
Arosa working on Meeks. Seagar, he's feeling it. He's got 10 points, a career high for Mo Seagar. His high was 7 earlier this year against New Hampshire. Michael Meeks missing an open shot, and there's Jerome Davis for the rebound. Did not walk, still has the ball, and he got a timeout taken. Heady play that time by the Peacocks with 40 seconds to go.
Very smart play by Mo Seagar, called the timeout. Davis was trying to dribble that loose ball. You're just supposed to pick it up. Mo Seagar felt he was going to get a turnover. Wisely called the timeout. Now watch this. The ball comes off the boards. Good box out by Seagar. Look at Seagar do all the little things. Gives a little push now. He sees his guy losing balance. He's going to get a walk. Davis just picks it up right there. He couldn't call the timeout. Mo Seagar's on his left shoulder. He calls the timeout.
Glenn Consor, you talk about heroes. Mo Seagar averages 2.5 points a game, but he is shooting 5 for 7 from the field, outplaying the more heralded front court of Wise, Barley, and Meeks. Who is Mo Seagar, they must be asking?
Well, you know what it was, Barry? He saw that he was named to my all-defensive team, and he said, wait a second, I could score too.
Yeah, he said Glenn Consor was an offensive player at BU.
He said, wait a minute, I'm not just a defensive player. I could put some points on the boards.
You know, the last time Canisius played at St. Peter's, they shot over 50%. That was in that stretch when they won 7 of their last 8 games. It was maybe their best game in a long time. They shot 52% in that game, and so far, St. Peter's, which was embarrassed by their defense in that game, has held Canisius to 7 for 25 shooting.
Well, St. Peter's is the type of team that will take away your strengths, and right now, Canisius is the type of team that their strength is the transition game. So what is St. Peter's doing? They're doing a great job on the boards, not letting Canisius get into the transition game. And they're doing a great job playing perimeter defense, putting pressure on the ball handlers, not letting the shooters get into their game. So they just totally have taken away the strengths of the Canisius Golden Griffins.
Mo Seagar surprisingly bringing it up against Darryl Barley. He's outplayed the more heralded Barley. Frensley, there's a 10-second differential on the shot clock and game clock. You see the game clock there. Open is Davis. He'll take the shot and bury it to give him a 12-point lead. Jerome Davis, who late in the season gave him a big lift, has given him a lift here. Javon Moore will take the jumper and got it to drop as the first half will come to an end. And the high-scoring Canisius Golden Griffins held to 22 first-half points and trail the Peacocks by 10. We'll be back with more from the Knickerbocker Arena. You're watching MAAC Championship Basketball.
St. Peter's College, the Jesuit College of New Jersey, believes a student should develop as a whole person. We educate our students through a demanding curriculum informed by values. With more than 3,400 students born in 65 countries, St. Peter's is one of the most international and interesting colleges in the country. As a charter member of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, we are committed to excellence in athletics and integrity in academics. St. Peter's College, the Jesuit College of New Jersey.
Welcome to the Marine Midland Bank halftime report. Speaking of halves, we are at the half right now. St. Peter's with a 10-point lead over Canisius, 32-22 the score. Now joined by Mike Santowski of Isuzu. And Mike, we've got a great contest that's going to come up any second now. What's it all about?
Sure do, Carl. We have Ray shooting from a three-quarter shot to win a 1995 Isuzu Rodeo, and he entered the sweepstakes at Goldstein Isuzu in Latham, and let's see what he can do.
All right, it's Ray Ousterhout, 33 years old, from Albany, New York. It's his chance to win that car. And it does fall short, but not an easy thing to do, Mike. We were talking about that.
No comment on that.
It's tough, it's tough. Now listen, we're not going to let you get away here because we talk about academics here in the MAAC, the excellent with athletics. We have the MAAC all-academic team. Now this pays tribute to students that are sophomores, juniors, and seniors with a grade point average of what now?
3.0 or better.
All right, now let's take a look at some of those names there. Mikkel Larson, of course, of Iona. We've got some real good players, Downing and Jason Hoover of Manhattan rounding out the bottom. Remember, only sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And look at some of those majors. Marketing, poli-sci, biology, and psychology. We also have a 1994-95 all-academic team for the women as well. See Becky Timmons of Manhattan, Patty Stofey, who's done just an absolute great job, Jen Nelson, and they have just done excellent in the classroom, 3.76. The grade point averages are just tremendous. And again, Isuzu involved in this, Mike, and paying tribute to those who have the excellence on both the court and in the classroom.
I tell you, it's a real good thrill for us to be involved with such a good conference that not only stress athletics, but also academics. And myself being a former student athlete, I know how hard it is to perform both on and off the court. So it's real good for us.
And I know Isuzu's very proud because as you guys get bigger, you're growing along with the MAAC as well.
Yeah, it fits us fine because we both strive excellent in all the vehicles that we make, and it's nice to have these athletes both striving in and on and off the court again.
Mike Santowski of Isuzu, thanks very much for coming by, and good luck to you.
Thanks, Carl.
All right, now it's time to go inside to the Canisius locker room. Let's join Coach John Beeline.
If that ball is out in there, you're out here trying to keep reversal from happening too low. You'll let him get the ball way out here, but bam, you're on him in a second. Then this guy's got to bump over, this guy's got to come down. Their only pass should be way here to the other side. That's their only pass that should be available. But it's got to be quick, it's got to be hard, legs got to be bent, hands got to be out. Son of a... I mean, I just can't believe that they got a like screen all over the place, and we're saying, sorry, next time we're going to switch. When is freaking next time that you're going to switch? That's all you got to do is talk. It doesn't even take anything to talk. Next. There were some times when we got to double down, right? Or that they were in transition. And all of a sudden, we didn't make the rotation. Maybe this guard was here, and they made penetration, and the forward stepped off, and now this guy was there. We didn't deflect that ball out of bounds. We needed to when they dumped it. We were still up here playing. We're playing, just when we play our man, we're playing basic, straight man defense. They ran a 24, so we're thinking, now we're going to double team. So they ran the 24 to this side over here, and both guys are going to double. You forgot that the guy's guarding the ball has to guard the ball before he can double. You're running up here doubling him while he's taking your baseline. You remember that play right here on the right sideline. That we're going to double that screen that's right there, but damn it, this guy was doubling it, and he hadn't even used the screen yet. Yes? Daryl, I don't know what to freaking tell you between Daryl and Craig. I mean, Seaguard's having a goddamn career. He's got 10 points. He's got how many rebounds? 6. Right? That's the guy that's going to freaking take your season right there. He's having a freaking career, and all of a sudden, he's just out-toughing us. He's out-playing us. He's a better basketball player than we got at the forwards, I guess. He's just better than us. You believe that? Well, it sure looks like if I walked in the arena right now and I said, who's the best player out there, I'd say Seaguard is. Because he's kicking our forwards' ass. Next. Just what we just said. Don't play the play, anticipate the play, but don't play the play. Don't take your body over and anticipate the play. You understand it, you see what's happened. They just ran the high post. You defended well as hell. And all of a sudden there was this type of screen for that final jump shot, and all of a sudden Craig thought there was going to be a switch. Daryl didn't call the switch. Whatever happened, there's a big basket right there. Instead of it being an 8-point, it's 10 and a half. Well, that's all it took was switch. It didn't take anything to do it. Yes? Okay, they're picking up real quick out of bounds, Craig. When you take the ball out of bounds, right, that Frensley's getting up here. Be careful. A couple lazy out of bounds. Make sure this 2 comes out here and gives us some help. Okay? But don't be lazy with this because he's sneaking in behind. Same thing in the break. Bam, we got a bad turner up the middle where people are coming, and all of a sudden, I told you, people are going to come from behind and try and tap the ball. Same thing the other way, get into their face early. And how many numbers are they going to have on us? They got numbers breaks all over the place. If you take half-court offense, it's tied. You take 3-on-2s versus 3-on-2s. They got 5 of them. They've converted all of them. We don't have any. Just beating you up the floor. If we go 55, damn it, what they're going to do is bring this guy in like he's going to get the ball. They're going to rotate it here, and they're going to hit him on the backside. That's why I'm telling you, play behind. Don't let them get the ball on the other side. So we keep them from getting the ball there, and all of a sudden, there's a backside layup. Another 2 points. Okay, we want to get down and get into that transition, but we got to run. Bam, when you get that dribble, you got to make that quick turn. One time you got it there, and you waited for just about everybody to get on the other side of you. Pick a spot, throw the ball out to a spot and go, and then Daryl and Craig are running their lanes, Mike's running their lanes. And then get into your high-low out of it. That's, I guess, what pisses me off the most. The team that's been through so much. You've been on the damn road all year. You've sacrificed so much for each other. And the bench is freaking quiet, right? Out there, as soon as somebody misses a layup or something goes, it's, come on, Mike, come on, Bam. It's like heads are down. We ain't going to win this game. Well, you ain't if that's what's going to happen. Everybody's got to pick everybody up. When a guy makes a mistake, pick him up, right? The bench has got to be loud. You're running your offense in front of you. Your D is going to be away from us. You're going to have to do it and instill it in yourself. You're too damn good to do that, what you did out there. Now, maybe it's good right now that you're down by 10 and you got to work harder. I'll give you a quick, and I don't want to get in foul trouble. 3 minutes, you had 3 team fouls, right? Is that good defense or is that bad defense? Well, based on the fact they had all the damn layups, we must not have been competing. Right? We got to get strong and physical with these guys so that they can't just have layup after layup and take care of, and have their way with us. Now you got to make a decision right now. Your season
right now, if that doesn't light a fire or motivate that team, nothing will. Canisius trailing right now, 32-22 at the half. We've got a lot more ahead from the Nick in Albany, so stay with us.
At halftime, a shocker. The number 2 seed Golden Griffins trailed the St. Peter's Peacocks by 10. Take a look at the Marine Midland Bank halftime stats. They tell the story. You've been watching the Marine Midland Bank halftime report. Back at the Knickerbocker Arena, leading scorers, amazing. Mo Seagar with 10 points. Michael Meeks with 8. But Seagar, as you heard in the locker room, the focus of attention on the part of John Beilein, among other things.
John Beilein told his team, you're making Mo Seagar look like Scottie Pippen out there.
So we'll see what happens here if that tongue lashing affects the intensity level. He was questioning the level of intensity on the part of his team. Do they want it badly enough? Barley will go up strong, and they bang on the rebound. And it's into the backcourt. Javon Moore, it'll be a backcourt violation here.
Just a mental error by Kevin Thompson, throwing it in the backcourt. Ted Fiore saying, hey, just grab the ball, grab the boards, squeeze it.
We'll reset the lineups for you. Mike Frensley, who took only 1 shot in the first half, working the point guard position with Randy Holmes, number 4. Holmes in that first half had 8 points. Sure, up front, they've got Bas DeVoe, number 34, out of bounds and lost by St. Peter's. Ted Fiore and Roger Blinn not happy with that. Here's Javon Moore. Will set their lineup for you. Moore will start in the backcourt with Freddie Thompson, 32, Moore 15, Wise 12, Barley 33, and Meeks 55. And look to Wise to really start getting on track here. And instead, they go to the freshman, Freddie Thompson. And Thompson makes it an 8-point ball game.
Well executed play by Canisius. Just show some patience, wait for the screens, and shoot the shot.
Hensley off to Holmes, DeVoe, Mo Seagar. Rosa drawing the double team, forced it inside, but traveled. And Arosa picking up his 5th turnover of the ball game.
And 4 of them have been traveling.
11th turnover for the Peacocks. And a chance to close into that lead, which at one point was 13. It's now 8. Wise for 3. And Craig continues to struggle. 1 for 7 so far in this game. It's a guy that shoots well over 50%.
He's getting good looks now. Another well-executed play by Canisius. That's good ball movement.
Holmes open, and that's the guy you want with the open shot. And Randy Holmes makes it 34-24.
John Beeline told his team, we have to rotate on defense and recover. Holmes should not have been that open on the weak side.
That's the guy you cannot leave open. Meeks over DeVote, and Pas DeVote picks up the foul.
Now look at Arosa. He kicks it out quickly out to Seagar, wide open. Barley there too late. And recovering in weak side defense is so important. You always have to know where the weak side shooters are. Even though you're helping out on strong side, you have to be ready to recover or you're going to get burned.
Meeks shot only 3 for 9 in that first half and got the lucky bounce there, as he now has 9 points for John Beeline's ball club. Out of Brampton, Ontario. And it's back to an 8-point ball game. Now they'll press in the backcourt a little bit, but force DeVote to put it on the floor. That's the guy you want to have the ball. Frensley. Only 1 turnover for Frensley in that first half, running the club.
See, Frensley just doesn't get rattled.
Seagar stepped in and got fouled. Craig Wise says, not me. That should have been a charge, maybe. So Mo Seagar will go to the foul line. And to show you, this guy is not a good free throw shooter, 33%. 14 for 42, but look at those numbers so far. And now add to that a career high 11 points for the young man from
Look at Ted.
New
Ted's
Jersey.
fired up. Mo's hitting outside shots, free throw shots. He's got that hitch in his foul shot. He brings it up, kind of like freezes it above his forehead, and then he releases. No rhythm, but he made the first one.
Foul on Arosa, his second. Team foul number 2. Meeks stumbling, and we're going to get a push. Ted Fiore wanted to travel, but they say he was pushed as he drove. So again, as they did in the first half, St. Peter's picking up some early fouls.
Canisius' offense is based off of Meeks coming to the high post. He can put the ball on the floor. You see him get bumped. But at this point, with Canisius not shooting well from the outside, I think you got to put Meeks inside.
Pas DeVote sitting down, Sherrod Jones back in the game, and Javon Moore hits the outside shot. And Moore cuts into that lead.
Creeping back. Slow process.
With 9 points, done a good job hitting 4 buckets. He's not known for his offense. Moore averages only 5 points a game, so you've got Moore and Seagar providing surprising offensive lists for their respective teams. Holmes running the ball club right now. Good look, Seagar in the lane as he tried to make a pass. He got held.
Arosa holds the ball too much. When he feels a trap coming, he wants to see things. I think you got to get rid of the ball before the trap comes. He's just allowing himself to get trapped.
Foul was on Thompson, his second on the team. And Randy Holmes with his second bucket here in the second half. He's got 12, and boy, if he gets starting to light it up, he can be a killer. And Barley answers back with a 2.
That's nice basketball by Canisius, getting some points in transition. Exactly what John Beeline wants.
30.
Now they got to get it up intensity-wise on defense.
30.
Falling back into that man.
Barley with 4 points. The lead is 7. Seagar guarded by Thompson. Arosa being guarded by Meeks now.
Canisius playing the 2-3 zone. It's a matchup. Keep your eye on Barley, Meeks, and Wise in the back to beat the shot clock. Mike Frensley.
Mike Frensley.
The always aware.
He can shoot the three. He's got 33s on the year and shooting 35% from downtown, but he just doesn't shoot a lot, but capable when you need it. And so is that guy capable for three, Michael Meeks. And now Canisius picking it up offensively after a horrendous first half in which they shot almost 29%.
Barry, there's a sense in the air that Canisius is going to make a run here. I could just feel it.
Yes. Well, there's got to be a sense of urgency on the part of this Golden Griffin club. You heard John Beeline say you came too far just to lose it here and not put 100% effort out there. This is a club that has played great away from Buffalo, as has the St. Peter's club played away very well. Holmes off the miss. Canisius can cut into that lead of 7.
Man, Holmes has some major hops on his jumper.
A 3. Thompson wouldn't go, and Sherrod Jones with a nice rebound. Frensley pushing it up. Nice. To Seagar! To Arosa, rather.
What a great dish from Frensley. And boy, could Arosa fill that lane. 6'8", 220.
Now a very exciting Louis Arosa out of Edison, New Jersey. So into St. Peter's High School. And he got the St. Peter's fans up with that slam. Back to a 9-point game. Barley, top of the key. Oh, and Seagar skies for the rebound. Seagar had 6 rebounds in the first half. The lead all rebounders. St. Peter's by 9. We played almost 6 minutes in the second half. The winner to play Manhattan. Great drive by Frensley off the penetration and trying to finish with Sherrod Jones, but he got hammered going up.
What makes Frensley such an excellent point guard is he knows when to pick his spots and penetrate. You'll see him play around the perimeter, then attack when he has it, and he knows how to draw and dish.
So here's Sherrod Jones at the line, Glenn. You're stage struck for a moment. I haven't seen you that quiet. What happened? You were finishing a point.
Had some exciting fans from St. Peter's, fired up from Mike Frensley, and so am I.
Sherrod Jones and error the St. Peter's. Little wave there, huh? Sherrod Jones hits the 2. We've got a timeout. The Peacocks continue to strut. They lead by 9.
We talked about Louis Arosa beating everybody down the floor. Keep your eye on Arosa. He's under the basket, 33. Jones gets the rebound, and Frensley pushes it up the floor. And look who leads the break. Arosa with the finish.
Yeah, Louis Arosa has played 2 very strong games. He was a key factor in yesterday's win, as they came up with the victory yesterday over Siena.
Baskets like that are really hurting Canisius. St. Peter struggles when they execute a half-court offense. If they could keep and maintain picking up some easy baskets in transition, they will extend this lead. Canisius has to make sure they do a better job converting those threes and crashing the offensive boards.
The lead is 11, and we played 6 minutes and 10 seconds of the second half. Looked like they were in the process of making a run, Glenn. They got it down to 6. Here's Barley outside. Greg Wise, you expect him to get on track. Tough shot with Seagar all over him. And Barley put it on the floor. It'll be a foul against St. Peter's. It'll be on Sherrod Jones. Arosa now getting an opportunity to sit on the bench, as we've got Sherrod Jones in there with Mo Seagar and Jerome Davis. And on the backcourt, Frensley and Griffith. Good look that time, and Meeks finishes off the pass from Craig Wise, but they say no basket, however. Foul before the shot.
The push was before Meeks got into his move. But I like what John Beeline's doing and trying to get the ball inside to Meeks to get some easy baskets. You can't just rely on perimeter shooting.
was the 5th team foul. Javon Moore. And Seagar, quick outlet to Griffith. Young is back, and so is Bam Moore to hustle back. And they throw to the side court here, but what hustle by Moore to get back and break up the fast break.
Great job by Moore. St. Peter's had numbers, but they were too tight. One guy could play two. When you're tight on a fast break, you got to keep it wide.
St. Peter's with the ball, and the lead is Davis battling with Wise, and the ball went out of bounds. It'll be off Wise. 22 seconds remaining on the shot clock. It's an 11-point lead. Good entry pass. Wise disappeared, but Davis missed a chippy and fouled on the rebound. That could come back to hurt him. Davis gets called for the foul. That's the 2nd on Davis, and the 6th team foul. Javon Moore will come out of the game. And Damone James checks in the backcourt, replacing him. And Ryan Collins is in right now, replacing Michael Meeks. James, a guy who was a starter last year for a good part of the year. An outside shooter. Looking for some outside shooting. They have not been able to get any outside shots off even. Wise on the penetration. And it makes it 44 to 35. It's a 9-point ball game. 7 points for Craig Wise. Frensley. Knocked away by Barley.
Jerome Davis was wide open off the screen inside. St. Peter's missed him. Now Wise showing he's explosive. The weak side defense got there too late. Arosa could have stepped in for the offensive charge, just didn't react quick enough.
There's a look at the MAAC Player of the Year who has struggled in this ball game. And again, you expect in moments like this, a player like Wise to step up. He doesn't want to have his career end on a losing note. They've come so far from the program he was in with the Marty Marbeck when he was first recruited. That was really way down as Holmes tries to bury them with a 3 right here.
And Chris Young couldn't have played better defense. He had a hand right in his face, in his chest on defense.
They're going to rule that just a 2 to make it 46-35. James, tough shot. Collins going up. Nice rebound for the big guy. Ryan Collins with his first 2 out of Michigan. It's back to 9 points. Griffith looking for Arosa.
Nice skip.
Holmes, nice fake on Wise. Tough shot. The follow by Holmes, no basket. And a foul on Davis for pushing out, and they're over the limit. So if Canisius is going to have an opportunity to make a run here, they might be able to do it at the foul line here. With 11:17 to go, they're in the bonus situation.
That's a big foul right there for Ted Fiore's team.
And the irony of it is that St. Peter's plays generally such clean defense that they rarely put you on the foul line. But they've been very aggressive today. They've committed fouls, and in both halves, they've gone to the free throw line.
The interesting thing is most of the fouls that they've committed have not been on the perimeter, and they have not been in the low post. They've been kind of like in transition, picking up loose balls and stuff.
Wise will get another one. Postavote coming in for Jerome Davis. Wise is 2 for 9 from the field. You see the numbers right there. The MAAC Player of the Year. Time out on the floor. 11:17 to go, second half, and the Peacocks continue to surprise.
Now, Randy Holmes does not have an invisible trampoline when he takes this shot. He blows by Wise, goes up in the air, hangs, and hangs some more, almost makes the shot. Wise does a nice job of recovering, and then you see the push inside by Davis, and that puts St. Peter's over the limit, and that's a crucial play right there. Canisius normally a good free throw shooting team.
Going to call it a player control foul, so there will be no free throw shot, even though it is the 7th foul. But right now, St. Peter's anyway has the ball. And you see an incredible story of points in the paint. I'd like to welcome the viewers from the Empire Sports Network joining us, folks at Buffalo. And right now, their club, the Canisius Golden Griffins, trailing in a bit of a shock here, 48-39 to the Peacocks of St. Peter's. Randy Holmes, moments ago, just hitting a shot. He has 16 points, and he is leading the surprising Peacocks right here. Luis Arosa with 10, and Mo Seagar, a defensive specialist, also with 10 points. But Glenn, as the folks join us from Buffalo, the big story is Canisius held to just 22 points in the first half.
Right on, Barry. It's not only that St. Peter's is doing a great job defensively, but they're also executing offensively as well. They're doing a fabulous job with skip passes, going from one side of the floor to the other, creating opportunities for guys like Randy Holmes to operate, either pull up for his jumper or create off the dribble.
Craig Wise has struggled in this game. So has Darryl Barley. Michael Meeks is giving some offense to this club. He's in double figures, but still a lot of time left in this game. 10:40 to go. And the Peacocks with the ball and the lead.
Canisius trapping on the first pass. You got to swing the ball around the perimeter to keep it out of the traps.
It'll be a non-shooting foul, 4th foul on the Golden Griffins, 2nd foul on Craig Wise. Ted Fiore's ball club gets a fresh 35 here. Mo Seagar was going to inbound it. Instead, they'll go to Frensley.
Canisius has many different looks with that zone. They could trap the first pass. They could sit back and trap the ball as it goes into the corner of the zone. That's a nice job by Wise stepping into the passing lane.
Up top, Damone James. That's a big shot for the Griffins as they crawl right now within 5. They were down by 13, you recall, and now down 5.
That segment right there on defense might be the momentum builder that Canisius needs. Right there, the great intensity by Craig Wise on defense.
Absolutely. And that is what John Beilein criticized his team for. More than anything else, their lack of defensive intensity. Chaplin, the look to Seagar in the lane. Arosa got stuffed, tied up on the alternate possession arrow. It'll stay in the hands of St. Peter's. Ted Fiore begging for a foul there.
Look at the intensity, the denial, stepping in the passing lane. Craig Wise, and he takes control of the game. He keeps control of his dribble, waits for the trailer. Nice patience in transition.
12 on the shot clock. Boy, you can see they're picking it up. Chaplin almost stripped by Wise.
They got to get the ball in Frenzy's hands. Seagar, smart enough.
He'll force it up. 3 on the shot clock, and he got fouled. Chris Young committing a 3-point foul here. Young has been strangely silent in this game, and there's a guy we talked about, his 3-point shooting so vital to John Beilein's ball club.
Those are the types of plays that gives coaches ulcers. You do a nice job on defense, then you go run at a shooter and foul him from behind the 3-point stripe. Chris Young coming out of the game. I think he's going to hear it slightly from John Beilein.
Well, you heard our halftime locker room report. We were in the locker room thanks to John Beilein, and he left no words on, no, he didn't mince any words, let's put it that way. He challenged his team to see if you are a team deserving to play in an NCAA tournament or in a conference championship. Frensley will get one more. He's a good free throw shooter, 77%. And his club is up by 8. 9:38 to go. Michael Meeks, guarded by Arosa. Craig Wise, guarded by Seagar. That's been a big matchup, and Seagar has outplayed Wise surprisingly today. Michael Meeks down low. Chaplin blocked him. And committed the foul.
Chaplin got there too late. Meeks did a nice job of sealing Arosa on his shoulder. Now everybody in the gym, though, he was going down inside to Meeks. Chaplin, look at Chaplin, his back is turned. He doesn't see the ball, and he's just there too late. He just didn't open up to the ball defensively.
Team foul number 9 as Meeks goes to the line to shoot a pair. He's 7 for 7 from the foul line. So Canisius doing a good job at the foul line tonight. Staying in this game, hitting these free throws. And it's a 6-point ball game with 9:18 to go. Chaplin off to Seagar. Damone James picking up Frensley. Frensley looking for Arosa. Draws the double team.
There he is again. You got to get rid of it, Lewis, before the trap comes. You just got to get rid of it. Seagar standing wide open. This is what I'm talking about. When you see two guys trapping you, you can't wait till it comes. You got to get rid of it. Now watch this. Frensley hits him in the low post. Here comes the trap. Here comes Meeks. Now get rid of it. Instead, he's holding it. Seagar right now is wide open by the foul line, and so is Chaplin on the baseline.
John Beeline wanted a travel or a foul on Arosa for muscling Meeks there, who had done a good job doubling up. So a fresh 35, and away from the ball, Mo Seagar is going to be called for a foul. Remember, they're over the limit. And this is not a player control foul. This will be 2 shots coming up. And again, Canisius, which has struggled from the field, going to get a chance once more to get a couple of freebies here at the foul line. 2 free throws coming up.
Ted Fiore's team is not in a good situation over the limit right now because Canisius can make these foul shots, and all it does is stop the clock. And
And they have crawled within 5 here. Canisius shooting 13 for 14 at the line tonight. Frensley looking. Shot clock to 10. Chaplin, 6. Holmes will launch it. And Barley's got it. You sense the momentum swinging back now to Canisius. 8:15 to go. They trail by 5. Meeks lobbing down low. And we get a foul called. Craig Wise has said he's a guy who wants the ball when the game is on the line. He's not the MAAC Player of the Year for another reason.
yeah, look at Wise just post up, go block to block with Seagar on his back. That's a wheel and seal offense now. They're starting to use Wise down on the block, posting up. Normally, he's outside on the perimeter. I think it's a great move by John Beeline.
3rd foul on Seagar. Wise looking for point number 10. 2nd leading all-time scorer in Canisius history. And he'll get another free throw here. This is the closest they've been in a long time. They trailed by 10 at the half, and now they're down to 3 with 8:04 to go. So a real moment of truth for the Peacocks here. Canisius at the foul line has come back into this game.
When you're over the limit with over 7:50 left in the game, there's a psychological factor here. You got to lay off defensively. You can't be as aggressive as you'd like to be. That's why Canisius is in good shape right here.
Seagar battling for the rebound. No foul as Meeks got a piece of it. Ted Fiore can't believe there was no foul.
Seagar got hit going up.
Wise from the corner. Way short. Chaplin will wisely give it up to Frensley. 7:20 to go. A 3-point ball game. St. Peter's clinging to the lead. Rosa at the high post. Frensley. Boy, now St. Peter's cooling off. Not normally a great shooting club, and the numbers starting to come close to what their normal figure is.
Frensley's got to take that shot. Ted Fiore told him in the walkthrough today, Mike, you need to shoot those shots.
Rosa drove along the baseline and got fouled. It'll be the 7th team foul. Third foul is on Barley. Barley picks up the foul. So Arosa will shoot 1 and 1. And the lefty gives his club a 4-point lead. Ted Fiore relaxing a little bit. Roger Blinn, the gentleman with a tie and jacket to his right.
Roger Blinn does a great job in scouting teams, preparing St. Peter's defensively and offensively.
1 of 2 free throws. St. Peter's has shot well from the line, but not nearly has been at the line. 13 more opportunities at the other end. Look at the battle. Wise wants that ball inside on Seagar, trying to draw another foul on him. Here's Barley slipping in and makes it a closer ball game. It's down to a deuce. 52-50, 6:20 to go.
Canisius going into a triangle with Meeks, Barley, and Wise on one side, and now they made the change, putting Meeks high and Craig Wise low, Barley on the wing for the penetration.
Holmes has been rather quiet a little bit of late, guarded by Moore. Seagar pulling up for the jump shot, got fouled and count the basket. Oh, Mo Seagar. And it's a 4-point lead, having the game of his life.
Mo, not an offensive-minded player, just takes the lane from Wise. Wise bumps him with the body out of position. Going left, pulling up, on balance.
Looking for point number 14.
I think the whole Canisius team is in shock.
This young man averages 2.5 points a game.
Putting up that many shots.
Well, he shot well. He hasn't taken a bad shot all night. So a big possession. And stumbling was Barley, lost the ball. Time out on the floor. 5:37 to go, second half. And the Peacocks lead by 4. Sports Events Incorporated, America's premier event marketing company, is your ticket to attending all major championship games. For information on how you and your group can attend national and international major sporting events, please call 1-800-473-6507. Well, the Golden Griffin hoping to get a chance at the Manhattan Jasper. Manhattan won earlier tonight, 82-69, coming from behind to beat Fairfield. John Beeline's club trying to come from behind here, Glenn.
John Beeline, I think, has his team playing defensively the way they want to. Picked it up a notch, creating some opportunities with some steals, but they have to start making their free throws.
Good pass off, but DeVoe had it jammed down his throat. Arosa made the nice penetration. Down 4. Wise wants to take over the game. Perhaps Barley given too much room by Arosa. Wise kept it alive for Moore. Lost it out of bounds, says Murph Shapiro.
Seagar so active on defense. When Moore got that rebound, he came around, reached around, and deflected it off of Moore. Does all the little things, Barry, to win ball games.
Under 5 minutes to go. The Peacocks looking to get to the championship for the first time since 1991. Holmes. Shot clock to 9. Seagar with 6. He'll have to take a 4th shot here, and the rebound to Wise. Quickly pushed up to Barley. He stumbles, but Meeks is there to put it in. And Barley shaken up, holding his leg as he went down hard, stumbling.
Barley lost the ball. It turned out to be an unbelievable bounce pass.
How about that assist?
Looked like he might have sprained his knee as he stopped
He'll
to gather himself. Watch this pass, great little vertical pass by Moore, and he loses his balance and just loses the ball, and look who picks it up as the trailer position, Michael Meeks. Talk about being in the right place at the right time, but that's what you get for hustling.
54-52, the Peacocks by 2. Holmes tightly guarded by Moore. Arosa battling Meeks for position inside. Translate picked up by Chris Young. Arosa with the shot clock down to 6, way off 2 bad shots in a row. And again, an opportunity to tie it for Canisius.
Nice defense again, but that time Arosa again let 2 players get on him before he got rid of it. Not a good shot.
Forced it there. Wise trying to go backdoor on Seagar. Up to Chris Young. A 3 will put them in front. A 2 will tie it. Meeks skying as Wise stripped by Seagar. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll still be Canisius ball. You can always expect the unexpected at a Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference game. Coming up next, the New York Lottery's Hey, You Never Know, an unexpected MAAC moment.
St. Peter's College, the Jesuit College of New Jersey, believes a student should develop as a whole person. We educate our students through a demanding curriculum informed by values. With more than 3,400 students born in 65 countries, St. Peter's is one of the most international and interesting colleges in the country. As a charter member of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, we are committed to excellence in athletics and integrity in academics. St. Peter's College, the Jesuit College of New Jersey.
You're about to see the faster than the speed of light, quick hands of Mo Seagar. Now, right now, Mo Seagar has switched off from Craig Wise. Look who gets the rebound, but there's Seagar again with the deflection and the strip. He's just everywhere.
Listen to this line. He's 6 for 10 from the field, 10 rebounds, 13 points off the Meeks opportunity inside. That could have tied it. Holmes. And they'll settle it down in the hands of Frensley. 3:05 to go. Peacocks holding the 2-point lead. Holmes still dribbled himself into a trap, and Wise again comes up with the ball, knocked away by Arosa. Scramble for the ball, goes out of bounds. It'll be blue ball in front of us. And Jackie Hannon has to chase the ball down.
Canisius is doing a nice job of hedging on the screens. Randy Holmes had to pick up his dribble, found himself trapped by 3 Canisius players. You have to be careful.
Now Canisius picking up the shooting here in the second half. St. Peter's a little down, but nevertheless, overall shooting 50% from the game. Another possession here with 2:35 to go. They haven't scored in quite a while. DeVote, tough defense. Frensley guarded by Young. And an offensive foul will be called. Elbow used by Arosa.
Second time this game, throwing an elbow. Ted Fiore knows if he hasn't learned the first time, he's not going to learn the second time. You can't throw your elbows to keep people off you. He's got to keep his cool. This is where composure is real important. You see him throw the left elbow? Now, Meeks is 6'10", around 240, so he's not going to go down that easy, but it was a blatant elbow.
Michael Meeks with a chance to tie the ball game with one more free throw. He has 18 points.
We got a game, folks.
He's 9 for 9 at the foul line. A 70% free throw shooter in the season, and he's deadly here. It's the first tie in this ball game since the game began. So here we go, folks. DeVote with Meeks all over him. Puts it on the floor. He stumbles. He's in trouble. Griffith. Seagar.
Seagar's got to get out of that corner. They will trap you.
And a foul called by Joe Mingle. They're over the limit.
Frensley's got to get the ball in the middle of the floor and balance the floor. You saw Bas DeVote on one side, Seagar on another, and there were 3 Canisius players defending 2 for the trap. You got to get out of the trap, get the ball in the middle, and work your offense.
Seagar not a good free throw shooter. He puts up a brick there. We told you 33% coming into the game tonight. And we've got a timeout taken right here with 1:57 to go. And now Ted Fiore will see the official come over and get a towel to wipe off the basketball. So not a charge timeout.
Yeah, it was an official's timeout. The ball was wet. Ted Fiore got a couple words in during that little official timeout of 3 or 4 seconds.
Golden Griffiths a chance to take the lead for the first time here.
Nice patience by Canisius.
Barley hustles it down, and Meeks just gets it to the front court. 1:35 to go.
Looks like the tempo has changed. Now Canisius is picking up the loose balls, getting those long rebounds.
Both teams will be in the double bonus on any foul here.
There it is.
Meeks. And Arosa with a big rebound.
And that's a well-executed play. Meeks starts from the baseline, comes up high. That's automatic normally.
1:05 to go. Tied at 54. Arosa off to DeVote. It wouldn't drop, but he'll get 2 free throws.
That's where strength becomes such a factor for DeVote. And Ted Fiore knows it. DeVote has a very good understanding of the game. He knew when to roll. He just didn't have the upper body strength to finish that shot. Ted Fiore's going to get him in the weight room once the season ends. Nice draw and dish by Arosa. Now he knows to go strong, just didn't have quite enough for the finish.
Is that the guy you want to have his hands on the ball when the game is tied? Especially when he goes to the line. You got to love it right now, though.
I guess so, Barry.
Bas DeVote, an unlikely hero along with Mo Seagar should they win this game. They went 4 minutes without a point until that last free throw, and he strokes 2 beauties down. A 64% free throw shooter.
If I were Mike Frensley, I would bother more. Good timeout by Beeline.
And again, a reminder, the first time these Cubs played up in Buffalo, it came down to the final 3 seconds when Brian Griffith hit a 3-pointer to give St. Peter's a 56-55 win. We may be coming right down to that similar kind of situation right now. Look at the score. It's 56-54.
Right now, John Beeline is going to design a play that's going to free up either Meeks coming from the baseline, shooting that little elbow shot from the foul line, or Wise coming from weak side into the wing.
Come in and play high-low with Mike then, right? Then we're going to reverse the ball back over here to the 2-man or the 1-man. Javon, as a matter of fact, when you make that, Javon, you bump back to here. Don't go to the corner. You're going to bump back. Then we go here. We have the diagonal screen down for Mike, right? Or Mike can go back door and Craig comes back out in here. Okay? Right now, you want that shot within 10 seconds. You understand? You want that good shot within 10. Also, we got 2 shots to the foul line. So seal up big. What? No, not a Florida. Just let's go right into it quicker. But we got that good quick reversal now. Right? 1, 2, 3, win.
Keep your eye on Craig Wise going block to block for a seal down. Wise could use a screen and set up and face the basket, but I think they're going to try to seal him down low to get to the foul line and let him go one-on-one against Mo Seagar. Watch this.
Moore, Farley looking inside. Wise wants to go inside instead to Moore.
There's Wise down low.
Moore launching the long shot and Arosa the rebound. He got fouled quickly. Wise will stop the clock and put Arosa on the line to shoot 2 because they're in the double bonus.
I thought Canisius was a little impatient on that play. That's the type of thing where you might have to give up a shot that where you're open to get the ball into Craig Wise's hands. But Barry, there's still plenty of time. These are some big free throws, Barry. Again, the importance.
Luis Arosa at the line right here. Big free throws by DeVote and Arosa down the stretch in crunch time. 14 points for Arosa. Trying to give his club a 4-point lead, and he does. "35 seconds to go. They've got to get one up quickly. Will they go for three?
Wise is posted up.
Meeks. Arosa, another rebound. They don't foul him yet.
Give it up. Don't swing your arms.
20 seconds to go. Frensley will get fouled, stopping the clock. But why didn't they foul him right away? That was 6-7 seconds off the clock went.
Arosa was in position, and we talked about him holding the ball too much. On that play, it would have been to the advantage of Canisius again. They didn't foul him, and they got the ball into the guy who can really break splits. Look at Barley penetrate in. Meeks wide open. Not going to get an easier shot than that. Little chippy inside. And look at Arosa. Screaming, hollering. Wise should have fouled him. He was trying to.
Frensley will get one more. It's a 4-point game. 2 possessions right now. Ted Fiore wants one more point here to force him to take 2 threes, and he's got it. Wise with 15 seconds left. Seagar the rebound, and the Peacocks on the verge of going to the championship, and another crushing defeat on the verge right here for the Canisius Golden Griffins, denied last year by the upset-minded Loyola club, and it looks like this year it's going to be these Peacocks.
I thought Canisius did a nice job coming back into this game, but you got to give a lot of credit to St. Peter's. They didn't get rattled. They stayed poised when they lost their lead. And you got to give a lot of credit to Mike Frensley. We talked about his composure at the point guard position. When in doubt, you give it to Frensley.
Luis Arosa has played a solid game. Double figures in rebounds. And just calmly buries the free throw to make it a 6-point ball game.
What a big game from Mo Seagar, who could light up some cigars after this game. By the way he played, but they got the big one tomorrow night against the Jaspers.
Wise, his last play of the regular season. Meeks puts it back in. 1 second left. And perhaps the Canisius Golden Griffins, with a solid record this year, are not finished for the year. Maybe they'll get a bid to the NIT. You'd have to think, with an 18-12 record and some of the impressive wins they had over Cincinnati and Pennsylvania, that their season is not over. They went to the NIT last year. They may be headed there again.
Yeah, I think the NCAA has to look at their non-conference schedule and see those victories. Also, UNC Charlotte in the mine shaft.
Well, in a game that has provided us with some unsung heroes, Mo Seagar with a tremendous all-around game. Craig Wise has struggled. Bas DeVote hitting those 2 crucial free throws with the game tied at 54. Boy, what an opportunity for a couple of unsung guys.
And the great floor game also from Mike Frensley.
1 second ago. It's academic right here. And the Peacocks and the Manhattan Jaspers will meet for the championship as this one is over. So for Ted Fiore, win number 150 in his brilliant career at St. Peter's. He's the second winningest coach behind Don Kennedy, who coached for 23 years. And he has done an excellent coaching job, not only this year, but certainly in the tournament.
Well, Ted Fiore, known for his defense, but it was offensive execution that won this game.
We'll be back with our post-game recap in just a moment. It's the Peacocks against the Jaspers tomorrow night in the championship.
Sports Channel's coverage of MAAC basketball has been brought to you by Isuzu, makers of incredible four-wheel drives. By the new Gillette Sensor Excel with microfins that set up your beard for the world's best shave. By US Air, we serve each and every person one at a time. By the New York State Lottery, play New York Lotto and you could win millions of dollars. Hey, you never know. And by Marine Midland Bank. Marine Midland Bank is proud to sponsor the MAAC tournament for the 6th consecutive year.
This telecast has been brought to you in part by US Air. Though we carry over 160,000 passengers a day, we serve each and every one at a time. Final score, the Peacocks of St. Peter's by 4 over the Golden Griffins of Canisius, 60-56. Standing by with Coach Ted Fiore is our Glenn Consor.
Ted, you look tired, Ted.
Glenn, I'm whooped. I can't talk. I'm physically drained, but hey, we won, and it's fantastic.
You did a great job last night taking away the strengths, and you did a fabulous job this game taking away the strengths of a tough Canisius team. What was the game plan?
Well, obviously, they have 3 players that are among the best that we'll meet in this league, and you have to try to contain them, and they just run an awful lot of nice things. John Bayline does a terrific job with them, but we had to limit Meeks and Barley and Wise. And our guy, Mo Seagar, is just a terrific defensive player and was significant in that. And I thought we did a very good job defensively. The first half, I thought, was a clinic.
Oh, the first half definitely was a clinic. Yeah. But it wasn't just a defensive clinic. I thought you guys did such an impressive job when you lost the lead to stay composed. You got to give a lot of credit to Frensley with that as well.
Oh, yeah. Mike Frensley is a terrific point guard, and he does give us great leadership. And you're right. I mean, we could have just folded our tents. But I think, in the locker room before the game, we talked about it. We said, this game's going to come down to the last 6 minutes, and who's going to gut it out? Who's going to be? It's a toughness test. And
Ted,
our kids are terrific.
You had the lead at halftime. Were you concerned that Canisius was going to make a run? Did you expect them to make a run because they have the firepower to do so?
Absolutely, with the kind of firepower that they have, they can just run on you real quick. I mean, they can just make 2 or 3 threes, and boom, they're right there. And although they didn't really make a run, they sustained it, and we had a little trouble against them in the second half. Well, of course, 10 points is nothing, particularly with a team like that.
No question. Now you got a team called the Manhattan Jaspers that have to be in the back of your mind. I hate to bust your bubble right now, but what do you think the game plan is going to be against Manhattan?
Well, like I said the other night, Glenn, honest to goodness, we're just so concerned about this one. I'm going to go have a glass of wine, and I'll think about that tonight.
You deserve it. You definitely deserve it. Congratulations. Man. And when winning coaches win, some of them light up cigars, and we're going to talk to one right now. Mo Seagar, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on getting into the final. Now, you made my all-defensive team. We had it printed up, but I think you were trying to deliver a message that you also could score.
Yes, well, the coach told me earlier in the year just to run the lanes and trying to get easy basket, tip-ins. So that's what I try to do today and help the team out. We won, tough game, so it works.
Well, you did a great job. Now, it seemed like a lot of times the defense was keying on Arosa and Holmes. Yeah. Did you read that, and what were you thinking on those types of plays?
Well, the coach before the game, he told us that that they was going to be pressuring because, they first team, second team players. And he said they was going to double team them and pressure them. So other people had to step up and go past their man and get to the basket and do other things to help the team. So I guess it was my opportunity to step up, and I just try to help the team win.
I thought you did a great job of dribbling into the lane and pulling up for your little jump shot. Let's take a look at the monitor, Mo, to see a play where you got yourself in the lane. Talk to me about this.
Well, they was pressuring the ball, and the coach told us whenever they pressure the ball, go past your man and look for the open man or take the pull-up jump shot. And that's what happened right there, so it worked.
Well, congratulations on coming up big, getting into the finals. Super job.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
All righty, good luck. Now, Barry Landers, we have our final.
Well, we do, Glenn. One of our sponsors is the New York State Lottery, and they say, hey, you never know. And you never know when a